delighted to welcome Sasha Rylei to Totally Wired.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for that session, it was really beautiful.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was lots of fun.
Talk us through the songs you played.
Yeah, so More Than Lucky is a track about my mum, and so basically I grew up in Australia and my parents now live there again. They've been there for about a year, so I kind of wrote that song around the time that they were moving again, just thinking about, you know, how much I'm going to miss my mum. Like, she's my best friend and she's always there for me, and it's just, yeah, it's quite an emotional track, and yeah, just how like grateful I am for my mum and who she is and how she's supported me through everything. So that's that one. And then Cryptic is just a typical sad boy song, you know, and I moved past that phase, but I just really like the song now. Like, I like the melodies in it and kind of it's fun to sing, but yeah, I wrote that in a time just pouring my heart out, so yeah. And
they're both unreleased, so we haven't heard what they're like. Yes. How do they differ to what we just heard?
I mean, those kinds of songs, I think, like, I wrote them quite a while ago, and so in terms of releases, like where I put out my single Winter to Spring, I think I'm heading in a bit of a different direction with my sound. So I still love those songs, but to me they're older now, so I think they just feel a bit more relaxed. Like, I want to get a bit more like happiness into my songs, a bit more like light and upbeat joy, because I feel like I used to just write about like sad stuff, and you know, sometimes you just want to listen to like good vibes. So yeah.
Well, exactly, and Winter to Spring is that. It's a really lovely track. I mean, we played it on the radio.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, really like it. Tell us the story behind that, because Stephen Bamadelli came in for a session, one of our first ever sessions, and he produced it.
Steve. Yeah, so we write together, and so he co-wrote it with me and produced it, and we're still writing together and working on the next thing. But yeah, I wrote that song. I was kind of like, I want to stop writing about sad stuff now. So it's, you know, Winter to Spring, quite literally about like, how good does it feel when the sun's finally out and like the flowers are growing and it's not cold and rainy anymore. But it's also like a metaphor, because, you know, that like the darker days, like feeling sad and going through a tough time, and then finally it turning around and having that more positive light in your life, and, you know, just moving through those phases really is kind of what it's about. And yeah, there's a lot of like weather metaphors in there, but it's basically just about that, like just kind of moving out of some sad period of your life into more positive, happy times. Yeah.
So the second single is going to be produced by Stephen as well?
Yeah, I love working with Steve. We have a great relationship, so we're working on that currently, and I think it's, you know, still going to be within that area. Like, I love my kind of neo soul, jazz, R&B, all that stuff, but I think I want it to be, again, even more like upbeat, because I want to show people that I can have happy songs, and it's not, you know, all doom and gloom, because I listen to music to make me feel happy and, you know, bring light to my day, and so I think that's what I want to do for people. So yeah, I don't know when that one's going to come out, but we're working on it, and
no release date then?
No, not as of yet.
The last track was it mixed or mastered by Scoop Monty?
Yeah, so mixed by Scoop Monty and then mastered by Paul Wesley of Electric.
It's kind of insane, like Brighton collaboration, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
and it was just so kind of smooth, and just everyone was so good and like on it, and it just turned out exactly how I would have wanted. And like what I've said, like, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and so I think for a first track, like, it was just exactly as I could have wanted it to be. Yeah.
And how did that come about, working with those people?
Yeah, so I remember it was years ago, I went to a gig with my friends and we saw Stephen, and he's like just moved down to Brighton. No one really knew him, because there's definitely like kind of, you know, a music scene in Brighton, the community, and he was sort of new to it, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's so cool, and I really liked him. And then for a while I was thinking that would be really cool to work with him, and ended up just getting in touch, and then was like, let's work together. And since then, like, you know, become good friends, and I think he's a great musician and songwriter, and that just worked perfectly. Tom, Scoop Monty, I know him through mutuals, and then Paul was recommended to me. So I like working with people, you know, that I'm familiar with and that I know of, and so it was just, like I said, so seamless that way. Yeah.
And have you had a chance to play live yet?
No, not yet. So I have gigged around Brighton a bit in some past projects, but at the moment, I'm getting my set together with my band, and so the lovely Matt Boy is on guitar, as you saw, but he'll play a bit of bass, play a bit of guitar, because he's a man of many talents, and my boyfriend, who's my drummer, and so we're just gonna get a set together and get out as soon as we can. Hopefully gigs are coming back, and so we can get going with stuff. That'll be really cool.
Well, that's perfect. Thanks so much for coming in, and that was really beautiful. Thank you
for having me.
Cheers.